Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for being here. We had a chance to download this profile of yours or to maybe even look at it for a moment. This is the link for you to kind of download it or screenshot it, print it out. I usually recommend printing it out. It's one page where that gives you a reminder of what you are working with. And as you could see this kind of slightly complex diagram, I would like you not to be too overwhelmed by how it looks like. We will work with only 4 of these spheres. We're not going to take all of them within 5 weeks. We really give ourselves permission to take it slow and to integrate only 4 of these spheres. And I'll tell you in a moment which 4 exactly we will be working on within this 5 weeks. Also, you could see that how all of these spheres are interconnected, and that interconnectedness means holographic design. So holographic nature of this design means that that one sphere is affecting the other sphere. So through understanding of one sphere, you are by proxy helping to understand and helping to embody other sphere. And it goes through the rest of this whole entire system of gene keys. And also, just recently, I saw this picture, and this is a picture from an article that talks about cosmos, universe, and scientists, astronomers are getting insights into the universe, how universe operates and structured. And so this is how many universes in the Milky Way are connected. So you see these little dots of light. These are the universes, like our solar system is a universe, and the way that they are connected with each other through one flow. So similar to what I mentioned before, through simply understanding and exploring your own gene keys, you are creating this vortex of understanding and enlightenment in a way, helping others to understand their gene keys and their gifts. As you see this huge linking potential throughout our bodies, but also this potential to link with others in our environment and in our planet, and maybe even beyond our planets in other universes. What are gene keys? Gene keys are system, I call it descriptive system. It's not a prescription. Right? It's not like a doctor tells you this is what you have to think of and this is how you are. It's a description. And this is a description based on 64 hexagram. Hexagram means 6 lines. These 6 lines are coming from one of the most ancient description of archetypes of I Ching that evolved in China very, very long time ago, more than 3,000 years ago. And there was a very accurate description of these archetypes. And gene keys use inspiration of the I Ching, and there is a little bit of science of human design. I will sometime mention about it. It's a newer type of science that just evolved recently, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And what's interesting about I Ching of its own is that in 1980s, some scientists and mathematicians looked at I Ching and all of the 64 hexagrams and compared it to the 64 genetic codons. So our gene keys and our genes, actual genes that we have in our body, reminded very well the 64 hexagram. Not only that, not only the number itself, not only the binary, not only the binary structure, so it's 1 and 0, meaning binary, only 2 numbers to create the gene, and also to create the description of the gene, and also to create the description of the hexagram. But also what was interesting is that the description of hexagram was in a way corresponding, the archetypal description of the hexagram was corresponding to the amino acid that our body produces. And so that led and brought up this inspiration by writer Richard Rudd, whose book I highly recommend, to create the science of gene keys. So there is a lot to explore, there is a lot to consider. And once again, as we talk about relaxation today, to take it lightly, not to take it from a perspective of this is the only thing that you need to know and to remember, is to be open to all possibilities, to all gene keys, even to the gene keys that are beyond of your own profile of genetics. So in a way, this is our way towards our physicality, towards our body. So this is, we could kind of think of it as a snapshot. As we were born, at one moment, there was this snapshot that we do with our phones, right? Somebody or Cosmos took a snapshot of our codes. And so here we go, expressing specific traits of our body in a specific way. Sounds interesting, but also sounds a little bit sad. Sounds like we are pre-programmed machine that just runs specific mode of apparatum. That would be true, but in 1980s, 1990s, we again discovered that we don't just run those codes in a locked fashion. We actually have an ability to unlock those capacities. So it's not only predisposition, there is ability for us to be an open system, to mold and form and transform. Prior to that, genetics was very much about the primacy of DNA, and that is the theory that genetics was telling us about the primacy of DNA, that our DNA will dictate the unfoldment of our physiology, but also, of course, through our physiology, we will unfold in a emotional and mental way. And that, of course, led us into our spirituality. While recently, I would say almost about 10 years, neuroscience was really exploring this ability of our brain, first of all, to be plastic. So we call it neuroplasticity. And we will also look today into specific ways to easy, very affordable and approachable ways to practice neuroplasticity into our body. And so if we talk about genes in our brain, the moment we keep and create more plasticity through our brain, we then able to allow our environment and we allow our own perception of environment, that would be a better way to say it, to transform expression of our genetics. So our genetics would already have some type of program, but through our understanding of that program, we're able to express it in a different way. We're able to take that expression of our genetic predisposition through different spectrum of consciousness. And we'll look into different spectrums of consciousness in a few moments. And I hope that you were able to maybe download your own cards and your own profiles, and we'll go through this throughout the whole entire 5 weeks. So if you haven't been able to download it yet, do that, print it, snapshot it, whatever feels right to you. And as we go through this whole entire 5-week journey, we will look, as I mentioned before, into 4 of these spheres to make it a more digestible material. So it's not too overwhelming, all of it at a sudden for 5 weeks. What are these 4 spheres? These are the spheres that you see at the very bottom. There is a sphere of purpose. You see the purpose sphere, and you're looking currently at my profile. So truly yours is sharing with you as much as possible so you can see all of my profile. We will look at the purpose. So module 1 will be about the purpose. Then as we go up to the upper left, you see their radiance. So in the middle, you see the sphere of radiance. And where for me, it's number 12.3. That will be our module 2. We will explore radiance. And as we shoot across from our radiance all the way to the right side of our profile, you see evolution. Then module 3 will be about our evolution, and then all the way up across to the top, life's work, we will talk at module 4 about our life force. And module 5, we'll look at this whole integrity and seeing how we can continue deepening and integrate all of this beauty and into aliveness all together. So